Keegan here from Goon Climbers. In this video, I'm going to share with you my favorite hill climb extensions, and these are the ones that I use all across the country, on the West Coast and on the East Coast, hill climbing in different types of soil, conditions, terrain. These extensions can do it all for you, and they're the perfect length for trail riding, single track, hill climb. They're the do-it-all extensions. Let's get into it.
Goon Climbers!
I was trying to figure out the best way to show you guys how good these extensions are and why I like them so much. So I put together 5 videos of these extensions in different parts of the country hill climbing. They're pretty gnarly hills. These extensions hold up and do what I need them to do. Now, they go 6 inches back, and you'll see the grade of the hills that I'm on with these extensions, and they do very well. It doesn't matter how steep it is or how long it is. These extensions are great for trail riding, hill climbing. They pretty much are a do-it-all extensions from Open Edge Design. Our buddy Travis, he builds them. So let's go ahead and get to these 5 videos. I'll be walking you through them, talking to you about what I'm going through on the hill climb and also what the extensions are doing for me. So let's get into it. All right, guys, this is gonna be the first video that we go over. It is in Wyoming at one of our testing facilities. We got this huge gnarly hill climb that we test the bikes that we set up and build. So let's go ahead and go over it. But first, I'm gonna let you guys watch it, and then we'll step back and check it out and see what happened. This first part's so gnarly. You can see how steep it is. Huge rock face at the top. So let's go over that hill climb. Now, one of the crazy things about this hill is it has so much traction, and so with my shorty extensions, open edge shorty blocks, they are a little bit short for this type of hill, so you have to stay moving. But the problem is with this hill climb is there is so much freaking traction, and the vegetation is just so good on it, meaning like if there's plants and leaves or fresh grass on the hill climb, which is not fresh grass, but there is some grass, that provides a lot of traction. So good dirt and grass vegetation provides extreme amounts of traction, especially when you're on a steep incline like this and you have shorty blocks. Now, it would have been a little bit easier if I was longer, but these short extensions get the job done, and so let's break this thing down. And this first part of the climb is so gnarly. You have to get over this, I'd say it's 20 foot, this like wall cliff. And then you have to wheelie into this. Now let's, right here, this section right here, you have to try to get as much speed as you can right here in this open dirt area just to break out up the next section. Right here, this shelf right here, I wasn't expecting that, and I accidentally turned to the right, and when I hit this shelf, it kept me going right, and I couldn't turn back up the hill, because if I was going to turn back up the hill, that would mean that I would lose a lot of speed, therefore gain a lot of traction, and then wheelie out or not make it. So when I pivoted right, I just stayed going as much as I could. And this next section, you can see how steep it is, and just trying to hold that bike on the side of the hill, still moving, and then just clutching it, it was pretty gnarly. And we're just clutch work and wide open, clutch work wide open. Right here, I lose it a little bit, bring it back, lose it, bring it back, and that's why the clutch is so important in hill climbing. All right, this next hill climb is another spot with my buddy Colby, and This is a gnarly climb. There isn't that much traction. It's a little bit looser dirt, and it's deep too. And we'll play this video real quick, let you guys see the full climb, and then we'll break it down with these shorty extensions. And remember, they're only 6 inches back from stock axle position. Jump this right here, and then right here you have to get as much speed as you can. Sick. So if we break that down, go back a little bit. So like I mentioned, this climb is really loose. You got to get a lot of speed for it. So let's get to a certain point where I want to show you guys something. So cut down in here, jump over this section of vegetation. As we're coming up to the bowl turn, you can see my last line right here. I was cutting a little too soon for the length that I had and the tire that I had. I had a wore out MX-14, but I cut a little too soon the first run. And I just kept digging and digging, and it kept getting steeper and steeper, and I didn't make it. So this run, I went really high and then cut into the bowl. And like I said, this is a stock engine dirt bike with shorty extensions and an MX-14 tire. And then we're just holding it wide open and then kind of just using the clutch to keep the RPMs as high as we can get them. A couple huge ledges and rocks, and then we get out the top. Sick. And you can see how high up we are. It's about I'd say this one right here is about 1,200. So this next climb is in Wellsville, Ohio, back on the East Coast. And it's not like a big mountain, but it's a gnarly climb. And we call this one Young Colt. So let's watch it. And I'll show you guys the down trail. It's really, really gnarly, super rocky. But these extensions, they hold up really well. It doesn't matter the type of terrain you're doing. They hold up really well in single track, rocks, just anything. So they're great. I love them. Anyway, so that's the down trail. Let's back that up and watch it. Oh, that was really quick. So this climb right here, you have to cross a little hump and then cross a creek and then hit this wall. And there's a lot of roots and vegetation over the wall, so you have to wheelie into the wall, and these extensions just give you that perfect lift for it. Let me see if I can pause it at the right spot for you guys. Right here. I know you can't see it that well maybe, but right here, if you try to jump it, you're not going to get far enough, and also you're probably going to hit a couple trees along the way, so that's the biggest issue with jumping it. Out west or places where there's nothing at the top of the hill, you could freaking just jump that thing. But this one, you have to wheelie into it so you don't get much lift and hit the trees. So we wheelie into it and then we stay pinned. And I think I'm running an IRC M5B right here. Still stock engine. Nothing's changed. Coming up through it, and then we just cut through the trees. And the cool thing about these extensions are they're not extremely long to where it's hard to turn, sharp, and maneuver. These extensions give you the length that you need to climb, and then also they provide you the ability to still turn sharp. So let's check out this next video. All right, this one's in Wellsville, Ohio as well. And check this out. This is all slate. It's all slate and ledges. So hard rock, really, really loose dirt. Yeah, buddy. Lookout's a great climb. It's pretty gnarly. You're starting on the edge of a, let me see if I can back it up here. So Lookout's insane. The tiers go from top to bottom. So we've only been down 4 tiers, but this is second tier. And you drop down from the top and you're just hole shotting off the road. Nothing ever gets on the road because it's from the road to where I'm at right here is just so far. It's not even possible for anything to get to the road. It looks like it, but it's not. So this climb, you have to stay wide open and you have to be able to wheelie and keep your speed. Now, in this video, I had lost my front fender at Dominator Hill earlier in the day, so I didn't have a front fender, which allowed me actually to see every little rock and movement that my front tire was doing, but it threw a lot of dirt in my face. So we'll go ahead and get to the top of this, and I'll pause it and share with you guys something important about the top up there. So remember, it's slate dirt and really loose on the bottom. Pause that. Let me go back. So, right here, I don't think anybody has went up this original Lookout line. I think I'm the first one in a really long time to do it. So we were heading up that way, and is right in front of my front tire. You can see this ledge rock that I spin on, because I was going to go straight to where those 5 people were, or 6 people, but I spun out, and so, because, you know, one of the things, if you start spinning out in one position, turn your position, you'll get traction. You'll get more traction with your side lugs than you will going straight. And plus, I had a 3.5 rim, so 3.5 rims give you extreme amount of traction going left and right. So anyways, I spun out on this rock. You can see me kind of bobble, and then I decided to turn this way and still cut back up into it. But the worst thing about Lookout is the amount of vegetation and thick freaking plants. Like, this is, out of anywhere in the country, the top of Lookout, Ohio has the most traction, thick, luscious dirt. And it's just insane. And if you don't have speed, you will loop your bike out. And plus, there's a ton of beer cans and everything on the top of this hill that you spin out on it as well. Spin out, left, right, cut back in, and then just digging it out. So that climb is extreme, but those shorty blocks provided me a way to get through it and just keep trucking. As long as you have speed, those shorty blocks will work on any insane hill. And hope you guys don't mind. This old wooden chair that I'm using is just creaking all over the place. So let's go to the next video. All right. So we're down here at a place in Pennsylvania. Me, that was Hill Killer Franklin. Here's Otis. Perfect. He landed that just right to keep going. That bike sounds really good. It's a stock exhaust. Nope, nothing built. It's just a stock engine. All right. And we jump it, land. Sick. That bike sounds so good. So, let's see here. This jump right here. Watch me jump this. I jump it almost like my stock dirt bike. Twitch it a little bit. These shorty extensions do such a good job of mimicking what a stock dirt bike feels like, because they're not that long. So whenever you jump stuff, it still feels like a stock dirt bike. So whenever I land on this ledge, it just pops, the back end pops perfectly. And then we land and then we keep going, but for some reason, it was extremely loose that day. I slid out, because whenever you extend a dirt bike, you lose your traction and it always slides out. I slid out, hit a bump, and then have to still keep going. I crossed like 3 or 4 ruts and it just cuts through them like nothing, dude. These extensions are amazing. Watch. Hit a bump right here, keep going, clutch. And then we just cut across that whole little rut section right there. And right through here, we're just clutching it and working in and out. Maybe use a little bit more clutch than I needed to, but it's all right. And get to the top, wide open. So those are the 5 climbs that I think are pretty impressive for shorty blocks, the open edge design extensions that I have been using all over the country.
All right, let's take a little walk around the shop and I'll show you guys the equipment I use to make these become a reality. All right, so this is a Doosan D&M 4500. It's your typical 3-axis high-speed machining center. I did put a 4th axis on it. That's what this is right here. It gives me one more rotary axis. I don't use it all the time, but it is there when I need it. So this is the machine that I run the extensions on. We're just finishing up some right now. Just basically still need to bolt the block in there and package them. So that's the machine I do extensions on. The smaller Haas machine, this is the one I do all the smaller parts on. So your inside caps, the threaded adjuster block. All right, let's talk a little bit about bikes. As you can see, I'm not partial to brands. I started riding Yamaha in early 90s, then switched to Kawasaki for 6 years. I bought this 2001 Suzuki RM250, brand new. I rode that for 20 years before I moved to the KTM. So I'm not partial. If it runs good, I'll ride it. We do have a 2013 450 Yamaha. I have prototyped extensions for. I haven't forgot about you guys with the Japanese bikes. Here is a brake stay off that. Basically, we've integrated, if you can see it in there. Let me go to the side. Yeah, we've integrated that extrusion that's welded on the inside of your swing arm to the inside of that cap. So Jap bikes are fairly similar. One challenge though is the gap between your chain guide and the tire. It's very close on the Jap bikes. So basically we're gonna have to take these bolts off, and I will supply flathead screws. Whoever buys extensions for Japanese bikes, they're gonna have to take a hand drill with a countersink and countersink that piece of aluminum so your flathead screw is flush, because there's no way once we move that tire back it's gonna clear those nuts. So I'll supply flathead cap screws and lock nuts. We're just gonna have to run the lock nuts on the outside of the chain guide. So it's a little bit of an adjustment, but that just looks like what we've gotta do. The Suzuki, there just ain't much room there, and this is a 110 tire. The KTMs, this is a 120. You can't really see it, but I could run a 140 on this. You know, back to the Yamaha, same deal. This is a 110 and it barely clears. So we've got a Honda 07 roller. One of these days we're gonna put a 500 motor in this. Same deal though, that chain guide's the same design. So that's the best I've come up with so far, is to just run flathead screws on the inside and run the nuts on the outside, and I think that's gonna work just fine.
So those are 5 really good examples of how well those open edge design extensions work. Now, you may not have the skill set that I do yet. It takes several years and lots of practice to get there, but riding stock hill climbing and riding extended hill climbing back and forth will help you get to a point where you can pretty much go up anything you put your mind to. I'm at the point now where I don't have to think about hitting things on the hill climb dirt bike. I just do it. And a lot of times people mess up when they think too much about what they're doing. So you can get to a point in your hill climbing career, whenever you don't think about things, just go back to stock and stretch. Go back and forth and keep working on your skill set, and also get you a pair of open edge design extensions. I love mine. I take them everywhere. They're not too long, they're not too short. They're super easy to take on and take off. Go back to stock, go back to stretch. And all I do is take a couple links of chain with me, and the extensions, I'll bolt them on, put my axle through, put the chain on, add the links, and then I'm stretched. Then if I want to go back to stock, all I do is take the chain off, take those links off, pull the axle out, take the extensions off, put the axle back on, put the stock link chain on, and then I'm good to go. So Check them out. They're great. I love them. They hold up well, and Travis builds them for all models and makes. Now, he may not be the fastest out there, but he's getting to that point. If you guys have any questions about my videos or you want to see something else, hit us up at goonclimbers@gmail.com. Also, every other week, I am doing the top 5 hill climbs of the week. So anybody who sends me a video, and it needs to be horizontal, of hill climbing, free riding, just anything to do with hill climbing, we will rate those and show you guys the top 5 hill climbs that have been sent to us that week. So that happens every other week. If you want to buy a shirt, hat, hoodie, go to goonclimbers.com and you can get you some merch. Until then, keep climbing. If you mess up on a hill, hit it again. Hit it over and over and over, and we'll catch you at the top. See ya.